Unfiltered. Please tell me that's on video. I've never been happier.
I'm made for a fucking podcast. That's dangerous. Listen to me, we're at it.
Welcome to the final UFC Unfiltered of the year. It's our final one of 2023.
Oh my God.
We have to recap a little bit, Matt. A good show too. We have MMA journalist Kevin Iole, who I like very much, and he's really he's great. He knows so much about the sport. I love these guys that have been around for 15, 17, 20 years. And Michael Irvin, of course, will be joining us in a little while. Last time it got screwed up because of Michael's schedule. So,
well, I'm excited. Last show of the year. Let's delve right in.
Let's bring Kevin in and and talk about because you have to have somebody who really knows what they're talking about. Whereas I miss.
What are you trying to say?
We fuck up the names all the time. I mean, we don't know how to pronounce things. We're idiots. Welcome, Kevin, to the show.
Hey, technology.
Yes. We have a lot to talk about. We have to talk about. Is this just the nominees for the Fighter of the Year? And
there's suggestions.
Who else would know more than me and you and Jim, right?
Well.
It's a great point, Kevin. Thank you.
Of knowledge, and I think we're going to get you in. But let me ask you: Is there any like? It's just up for a debate. Is that what we're doing right here?
I think do a debate, talk about it, give our picks, who we think. Right? I think it's pretty easy, right? I'm
with you, Kevin. Let's effing go.
And it's very hard to avoid recency bias too, of like of all of the fights in December. You know what I mean? Like you want to just go back and go, oh, that fight happened a week ago. That's right. That was knockout of the Josh Emmett's knockout of Bryce Mitchell, which still might be it. But I mean, it's like, well, it just happened, so it's fresh in my mind. But you have to go back over the whole year, which can be kind of difficult to remember some of the earlier.
How many fights did we watch? Right.
Right. I guess we could start with. I'll just go by the list they gave us. Yes. Which one do you think you want to start with, guys? Do you want to start with fight of the year, or do you want to start with? They have category. They have male and female fights of the year. This is the order. We have male and female fights of the year, fighters of the year, breakthrough fighter of the year, upset of the year, knockout of the year, sub of the year, comeback of the year. If we can get to all of them before Michael Irvin.
Let's go.
Let's start with fights of the year. What we think was the fights of the of 2023. There's a lot of great ones to go over. I'll ask you guys to start. Matt, Kevin, what do you guys think?
Go ahead, Matt. Kevin. Well, in my mind, I mean, I think there's a clear leader here, but you got a lot of really good fights. The Edson Barboza Sadiq Youssef fight, that to me was like a wild fight. And I remember watching that thinking, I went into that fight thinking this might be the end of Edson Barboza, right? And he's almost knocked out in the first round, and then he comes back. And I mean, the swing of emotion in that fight and the momentum changes and everything. That fight had to be on the list. Of course, how could we have a fight of the year? Maybe we should change the name of the fight of the year to the Justin Gaethje fight of the year. But Gaethje's nominee this year, I guess, would be his fight with Fiziev, and that was an incredible bout. Dan Hooker and Jalen Turner, another fight that was one I had on my betting picks. That was the only fight I lost on that card. I had so that I went against Dan. That was a bad one. Pantoja and Brandon Moreno. Pantoja and Moreno. Crazy good fights. But I think for me, considering the level is Makhachev versus Volkanovski, their first fight, the level they fought at, the just everything that they did in that fight, to me, that encapsulates what I want to see in a fight of the year.
So you're going with that. You're going with Islam versus Volkanovski won.
The first one, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why, because when you so let's look at, some of these fights, let's say Dan Hooker and Jalen Turner or Barboza and Youssef. I think you got to take the quality of opposition into effect too, right? So if you're Volkanovski, you're fighting a much better opposition. You're fighting Makhachev, arguably the best fighter in the world, or Makhachev's fighting Volkanovski, arguably the best fighter in the world. It's hard to look good and hard to create offense against guys like that. So when it's close, and I say close, and I think it is close with some of these fights, you got to go with the better fighters. And I think in this case, Volkanovski and Makhachev put on an unbelievable fight. with a lot of momentum swings, a lot of, issues going on. And they're both two of the three best fighters in the world.
And what was on the line too, like the stakes, like there was something really big. I mean, for me, it was probably Gaethje Fiziev, just because I enjoyed that fight so much. I did not expect Gaethje to win that fight, and I was really happy he won that fight. So I personally, I enjoyed that fight the most, but the fight of the year probably should be Makhachev against Volkanovski 1 because of what was on the line. And you're right. And plus the weight class, going up a weight class and no one expecting him to last and go the distance. Just an impressive and incredible fight. So that probably technically should get it, but I'm going to vote for Gaethje Fiziev just because I enjoyed it the most.
When I was looking at all these names, all these fights, I right away knew where I was going, and it is Islam Makhachev versus Volkanovski. That fight. Listen, as far as excitement, any one of these fights you could really kind of do a toss up because that's what it is. That's when you watch it as soon as it's done. Oh my God, the best fight I've ever seen, because that's how exciting each one of these, they were. That's how exciting they was. But with the Volkanovski versus Islam fight, it was the drama. It wasn't supposed to be so competitive. Everybody, I mean, including myself, I thought the way that Islam before that point was just getting everybody down. Powerful guys like Drew Dober, just taking them down. Kimura and this guy, arm locking that guy, rear naked choke, head and arm choke with Oliveira. I just thought everybody. I thought he was going to take him down and just overwhelm him. So as the fight was going on, it's like you couldn't believe what you were watching, and then the way it ended was so dramatic. I think that's my the guy that has my vote.
Yeah, it probably such a great fight from beginning to end. That you had the high drama in the fight, right? Yes. Even when the fight ended, hey, you have an argument. Volkanovski thought he won the fight, and he had an argument, right? Certainly the rematch, quieted those who was the better fighter doubts. But at that moment, you could have made a case for either guy. That to me, when you have a fight like that has so much action, and when it's over, you're not really sure who the better fighter was.
Yeah, and by the way, that rematch could actually almost qualify for knockout of the year too. I mean, that's definitely in the running for knockout of the year. And Matt, let's do submission of the year next. There's some really interesting fights. Rakhmonov over Jeff Neal, or Black Shear against Johnson. Of course, Yair over Josh Emmett, Diego Lopez over Gavin Tucker, and Renat. In fact, I can never say this guy's name. Fakhtardinov over Kevin Lee, the guillotine. But I'm going to go with, of course, the one Matt is the only guy that called Jones Cyril Gane as a submission. I thought Jones would win the fight. I did not think he would sub him. I have to take that as submission of the year because it was first round. It was so decisive, and Matt picked it.
Now, there's something. Thank you. First of all, I should actually pick that also. I almost have. I'm going. Can I go off this list, or is it?
Yeah. These are just suggestions.
Oh, this is what I'm thinking now. Like Shavkat, he just got a submission win over somebody that never got submitted.
Right.
In Wonder Boy. That's listen, I don't give a shit if he's Wonder Man at this point. He's 40. I don't give a shit. He's still got submitted, and he never got submitted.
And Shavkat was injured in that fight.
And Shavkat was injured. So the fact that Shavkat submitted Wonder Boy, I think, is a big thing because Wonder Boy has a lot. He's been in the game a while. Nobody ever made him say uncle by tapping him out. So I'm going to say Shavkat for that.
The one that I'm going to go with, probably surprise you guys, but I'm going to go with the twister by Blackshear. I mean, you rarely see any twisters, and the way he set that up and the way he pulled that off, I mean, to me, it was like phenomenal. And Matt, you may have a difference of opinion in terms of but how difficult that submission is to get. And he did it so effortlessly almost, right? And it was just incredible. And then comes back and does it again, right, the next week. But I just thought that twister was so amazing that I'm going to go there.
And it is a fun one to watch when they get that off, like when Bryce Mitchell gets it, or you're like, wow,
right?
It is a cool looking one. You know what I mean?
Where they're all over the place,
head going one way and body's going the other.
And how we shouldn't just be chauvinist. What do you think? Female sub of the. I mean, I think that's. I mean, I don't want to say it's obvious, but I kind of have my take on it.
My opinion, I'm with you. I think getting submitted by Alexa Grasso. I mean, who saw that coming, right? And it was a great submission, the way she did it. And what I loved about it was she puts the video out after the fight where she kind of worked on the back take and the whole 9 yards. So yeah, that was. I mean, you're beating arguably the greatest fighter of all time by submission at that point. Incredible win, and that has to be it.
I take Grasso too over Shevchenko. How about you, Matt?
It's hard. It's hard to go anywhere and go pick any. Listen, I'm looking at all these. You know, the Erin Blanchfield taking out Andrade, and I mean, I'm looking at everybody here's submission, and it's so impressive. But you have to look. Who are they doing it to? You know what I mean? Submissions are awesome, and
Sure.
You know. You got to say, who are you making say, uncle? Who are you tapping out? I just remember when Alexa Grasso released her rear naked choke, it almost looked like she had a suntan and like her face was all white from it. So I'm going with Alexa Grasso versus Shevchenko because come on, man, that was
we got a unanimous one there.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean, Blanchfield over Andrade was great, but I mean, it's Shevchenko getting submitted. No one saw that coming. I want to just kind of throw one in here, which I just thought of, and I don't see a list for it. I would love to know, what do you think was the robbery of the year? What do you think was, because the judging has gotten to become such a bigger part of fighting than it should be. And it frustrates me. And these people work so fucking hard and they train so hard. Everyone makes an occasional mistake, but I mean egregious robbery. Obviously you have Jared Gordon. You also have, I feel, Grasso in the rematch. That 10-8 round.
Is that what you said?
Sorry?
Which one did you say, Jared versus Patty?
Patty Pimblett, and also, or would you go with the draw in the rematch between Valentina and Alexa Grasso?
See, I wouldn't go with that one because you can make an argument for both ways. Like I had Valentina winning the fight, right? And I think that, but you can make an argument. Let me say one thing to defend the judges a little bit, right? I think that they're not as bad as they are portrayed. They make there's been some egregious mistakes over the years. But I think what happens is we in the media and as fans of the sport, we're watching the fight, and unless you're working the corner, whatever, you're totally focused on what's going on, but you also have a bias one particular way. You're drinking a beer, you're eating popcorn, you're talking to your friend, when things happen in the fight, and you're not watching the same, way a judge is watching. And the thing that I always like to say is, that we do this at press row all the time in fights. How do you have it? How do you have it? And we're talking. And a lot of times we're in agreement, but also what you hear is that punch land, that kick land, whatever. We can't, maybe we're blocked out by where we are, where the judges have the replay in front of them and they're right up against the cage and they're not blocked out. Sometimes they are by the referee or the fighters. So having said that, I agree that we have some pretty bad mistakes.
I hope they fix that. I mean, it got so bad they were talking about open scoring. So people scoring. Yeah, I think most people feel that way. I kind of had mixed feelings about it. A part of me wanted to know, just because this way guys go into the final round knowing where they stand. But didn't they try it in a couple of places? And it's the only
in boxing, as far as I know, but never in MMA that I know.
Yeah, I think
they did. Okay, maybe.
I think it'll be a shit show, and they shouldn't fuck with it. You want everybody waiting for them to read the card and to read the winner. Who's it going to? Which side is Bruce? Is Bruce standing behind the guy? Is he behind the winner? Who's it going to be? You want that. You don't want, all right, we know this is fucking ending. All right, let's just get the fuck out. Or he's not turning this around. He's already, or else people bitching on the next round about not even how could they be giving that round to him? The judges already suck. I don't know.
Well, here's another thing that you have to remember in that case. So let's say the first round of a fight is close and it could go either way. And so two judges give it to fighter A, one judge gives it to fighter B. Now, the third judge that's on the wrong side, he might be saying, I better correct because I know those two are good judges. There are better judges, and I want to be on board with them. And now all of a sudden he scores the next round differently than he might have otherwise because he saw, he was on the wrong side. And so it opens the door to problems. I mean, it's not transparency. They're sitting there. We know what they're scoring in the fights. Their identities are not unknown. So it's not like we're hiding something, right? People think it's, put sunlight on them. Well, there is sunlight on them, right? We know who they are. Their buffer announces them before the fight. We know who they are. It's in the media before the fight who were judging all these fights. So hey, I don't think that's,
I'm with you on that.
Oh, by the way, it has to be. This is how stupid I am. It has to be Valentina. That has to be the most egregious. This is how dumb I am. December 2022 was when Jared fought Pimblett. I forgot that.
Yeah, that was mistake.
Yeah, that was because I wasn't looking at the date when I said that like a dope, and my producer just told me how stupid I was. And he said
it wasn't this year. It was
December of 2022.
We were all wrong.
We're doing a 365 day year though, so within 365 days we're kind of close.
It was a winner.
Yeah, yeah.
And I like what you think, Jim.
Yeah, what do you think of now this is a pretty interesting one. We could go with upset of the year, which there were a couple of really, really big upsets. I think that's a fairly obvious one. Matt, I'll ask you and Kevin, what do you guys think?
Go ahead, Matt.
The upset of the year. Well, I think I'll say the upset of the year was, as long as the date is correct on it, was the first Alessa Grasso when she beat Valentina Shevchenko. I think that was huge.
For women's, yes. For the women, we would do women and men.
Oh, what do we do? No, why do we just? Why you always got to separate them?
Because that's just how they did it.
Oh, is that what they're doing?
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, I picked.
It's very progressive of you, Matt.
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
That's very progressive of you.
Thank you. I pick. Well, with the female, I'm jumping ahead. I'm picking Alexa. And listen, I don't know, man. I mean, people can say Sean Strickland, but I don't know. I was picking him to win. I thought he was going to win a different way, mind you. The way he won was way more impressive. I thought he was going to blend in the grappling. But you could say maybe, was Grant Dawson, what was his record when Bobby Green beat him?
He had won like 20 in a row, I think, or something like that, yeah.
I'm going to say Bobby Green beating Grant Dawson.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't go with that one as much as I thought Grant Dawson's ready to take that step to the next level, and then Bobby Green, knocks him out like the way he did. But the reason that you got to go with Strickland, even if you picked him to win, he won all 5 rounds. He won every minute of every round. It was not even close. Almost submitted him in the first round when he had his back, and it was just whereas a knockout, nobody gets lucky. You're throwing punches to hit somebody, right? But he landed that one big punch and was able to finish him, as opposed to taking a guy apart like a high level guy like Adesanya. We're not talking about we're talking about one of the best fighters in the world, and he took him apart for 25 minutes. I don't see how it can be that. On the women's side, of course, Valentina losing. To me, that might be the story of the year. When Amanda retired, we're anointing her as the greatest, and then boom, right off the bat, there she goes.
I agree with you on Strickland too. I'm never surprised when Bobby Green wins. I mean, odds aside, like the way he fights, he's such a difficult fighter. I'm never shocked when he beats somebody. I was shocked that Turner beat him the way he did. But I would have to go with Sean Strickland too, because I think I took Izzy by decision. I didn't think he was going to knock Sean out, but for Sean to dismantle him for 5 rounds, a guy who moves so well and no one has been able to do that to, I think it was very clearly for me, it was Sean Strickland. And our time is a little short, so I'm being shouted at that we should also fighter of the year. We have not done fighter of the year, have we?
Let's go.
I'll let you guys start. Who you think was fighter of the year?
Well, if it's up to me, I think the 2 fighters of the year, I think we've talked about both of them a lot, and it's obvious. Alexa Grasso has to be the female fighter of the year, doing what she did. She survived 2 fights against Valentina Shevchenko, which in and of itself is saying a lot. She wins the championship. She defends the championship, and she looked brilliant in doing it. So she would be my female fighter of the year. And how do you go with anybody but Islam Makhachev? You go Volkanovski. Some people thought was the best fighter in the world going into the year, and he beats him twice, not once but twice, and in the second time, just unbelievably devastating fashion. So I think Islam Makhachev has, and that he has the long winning streak and everything, and he's been fighting unreal competition, and beating Volk twice in the same year is saying something, and it means something, and that, to me, that makes him fighter of the year.
I agree with. Sorry, Jimmy.
That's okay.
I agree. I agree with Kevin on Alexa Grasso. I agree on that. I think for the male fight of the year, I'm going with Leon Edwards. He defeated Usman the first time, and everybody's like, all right, he pulled that out of his ass. He was losing. Wait to the rematch. Right. Beat him in the rematch. And then, oh, man, Kobe's overwhelming. What did that gas tank? And just handed Kobe his ass. I'm going with Leon. Leon it's like that first fight just awakened the champion in him. And I'm going with Leon.
I thought of Leon, but it was an Usman rematch, and Covington was not that impressive. And again, you could say this because of what Leon did, but I thought Colby wasn't as impressive in that fight. He's just more of a figure that we all love to hate, so we kind of expect more out of him. But I didn't think he fought a great fight. I'm going to take Tom Aspinall. I'm taking Tom Aspinall because Aspinall, who again over Tybura, and I also think I maybe should have been considered for knockout of the year over Pavlovich because Sergey hurt him in that first round, and I thought Sergey he looked like, again, this invincible fighter. So I'm going to go with Tom Aspinall. I was very, very impressed with him dropping Sergey like that, especially after taking a tremendous shot where I thought he was going to be finished. So for me, it's Tom Aspinall.
Can I just say really quick, people are quick to point out how Kobe didn't look great and this and that, and I agree. I thought he looked shitty, but a big part of that is who he was fighting.
Yes.
Listen, Bilal Muhammad, who does he not get a hold of when he fights? Pretty much everybody. He fights his way in. Look at his streak he's on. And he does the same thing to pretty much everybody. The fight, it didn't go through, and he gets stronger as it goes on, Bilal. But he wasn't getting to something was going on in there similar to Kobe, where he wasn't finding his range and his rhythm all too easy. Right. He wasn't getting to him. So again, you could just say Kobe was inactive. He looked sloppy. He didn't look. Or when you're in there, and you look on the top of that, how he fought Usman, especially the second time, there's something that should be said. Something should be said for what Leon is doing to these guys.
I agree.
It's hard. It's easy to, Kobe, didn't look great. Usman already, he already beat him. Dude, something's going on. People cannot just get a hold of him and take him down and do what they want to do with him. So I don't know. I'm just saying that.
No, you're right. But I'm also looking at like Colby looked bad beyond, I thought, what Leon was doing to him. Like when he was he just didn't look right as a fighter. We've seen him lose before, and I thought he looked better in other losses.
Was it 18 months off, do you think, maybe?
I think that definitely had something to do with it. Even he said that. But again, everything he says you take with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But on that one, I don't think it was a shock. I think the level of the beating he took was kind of surprising. And that to me was where Leon was so great, except when Leon decided to wrestle with him, which I wish he hadn't done that. But look, he did it.
Are we letting Kevin go? We'll
wait a couple of minutes because Michael is not here yet. So
So let me bring this up because we like to talk about different things here. And this person is taking a beating, and I want to go to bat for him. Okay.
Oh no.
Zack Snyder. Why are people attacking Zack Snyder over Rebel Moon? I don't know if you like science fiction at all, Kevin. I don't like Star Wars. Jimmy left us, Kevin. It's just us. He doesn't like when I nerd. He does that to me when I nerd.
Well, hey, listen, great news, Matt. Guess who's in the waiting room?
All right, Kevin, I'm going to save you. But
Michael jumped in the waiting room.
Watch on Netflix. Watch Rebel Moon. It's like almost like an R-rated, even though it's 13, like a Star Wars type movie. So good.
Thank you, Kevin. You were great. And please come back in the new year. KevinIole.com. And he's launching a boxing and MMA podcast very soon. He's a really knowledgeable guy. Keep your eyes open early in January 2024. Thank you, Kevin.
See you guys. Thanks for having me.
Let's bring in, I'm not even going to say Michael Irvin. Let's bring in the great Michael Irvin, one of my favorite people.
I'm not going to bring up any of my movies that I like right now.
I don't know what kind of movies
that Rebel
Michael
movie
watches.
Was a good movie. People are giving Zack Snyder shit. They're giving Zack Snyder shit over this movie, and it's basically the Magnificent Seven in space. Like, that's what it is. So why are they giving him such a hard time? All right, let's go to Michael Irvin.
There he is.
Legend.
Michael Irvin. Hello, sir. How are you?
I am well, guys. How are you guys?
Good.
Can I ask you, Michael, last time you were on, I've been trying to remember it and I can't, but I've thought of it a lot. You said something about, there was some acronym for toys, something of youth that you had heard, which is what?
Temptation of our youth.
Temptation was the word. Okay, men like their
Temptations
toys.
of our youth. Well, it comes from old sermon, Bishop Priest. It's boys in their toys. Whenever we get lost in a mess, we turn to our toys, whatever those toys may be. You know what I mean? Whatever the toys may be, women, alcohol, whatever it is, we turn to that thing we call our toys. So he titled it Boys in Their Toys. You know what I mean? I thought it was fascinating.
It is, and it made me. I collect posters like from when I was a kid. I'm 55. Is there any of that stuff that you did from like when you were a kid that you brought back when you were an adult and you had money and you could indulge the way you wanted to indulge in it? It's something you collected or anything like that?
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting. Let me see. What would I say? You know, you're a kid growing up in areas I grew up in. You know, all of whatever hobbies you picked up, they all involve no money whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? So because you didn't have any money, nobody around you had money. So anything, you know, like you go out and play. I can go work out. I can go out and go play football, basketball at the park. All of those things, and that's really how you get as good as you get as an athlete. Because sports in the neighborhood, sports at the park, those sports were free. You can play those sports, you know what I mean? Then they start charging to play Little League football and all that stuff. But yeah, you can play for free over there in the park.
Michael, this is a saying that this is one that you dropped, I think, the last time you were on, and I think it's fascinating. And I want you to could you just elaborate on it? Right. If I attack a man's weakness, I can beat him. If I attack a man's strength,
I can break him.
I can break him?
I can break him.
Interesting. Please.
The logic came as I studied football, as I studied guys that I had to play against. Since I was a bigger receiver, that meant, okay, some bigger guy, if I had a bigger guy, I was faster than him most of the time, quicker than him. I can out-quick him. If I had a smaller guy, I could just muscle him, you know. But if I played you twice a year, that means you were in my division. And I'm gonna play you all the time. I'm not just trying to beat you now. I'm trying to break you. I'm trying to break you for the next time I see you. I'm the last person you're gonna want to see. You see what I mean? So if I attack your strength, you have nowhere to go. You see, when I attack a bigger man's speed, he said, "Oh, he just outran me. He got me. But if I attack a bigger man's physicality, now where can he go? He says, man, this dude out physical me. I don't even want to play him again because that's his whole card. He says, if I can out physical him, I'll get him. But when someone out physical him, he has nowhere to go. So yeah, I've always kept that in mind. If I'm going to see you again and again, I don't want to just beat you. I want to break you.
Can I ask, how would you know? Like, there must have been some way you would sense when you had that, like Bobby Fischer in chess said that he would like break a man's ego. Like, and he knew what
let me tell you, I run that 5 route. I run that 5 route, 17 back to 15 on a comeback, and I don't get the ball. And he'll turn and say, good route, man. Because you know he's beat. You know, hey, dude, I talked to you about all that after the game. That means you don't want no more. If you're capitulating, You don't want no more. You giving in. Don't say a word. That's the best thing you can do. And just stay stoic and ready. Let me tell you, it's so funny because, big start of a game, I'd be violent, hitting people all across the head. I would turn around and walk back to the huddle. Like I'm not, because if I'm fired up, you think that's just a hype thing. But if I hit you in the mouth like that and turn around and walk back to the huddle, you saying this joker crazy. He think he's gonna hit me like that all day? You see what I mean? Now I'm in your head a different way. So that's why I like that kind. That's why I love the UFC. There's a lot of head games and head fights. I was listening to my man Kobe talk about after the fight, how he said he was hurt, but he didn't want to say anything in his corner. You know what I mean? Because now with social media and everything, people hear it and they start putting it out there. The other corner gets it right away. Now they know. They have information that you didn't want anyone to know. Kobe said he came back into his corner and he was hurt. He said, I just couldn't even say anything because I knew from previous fights what will happen. And that, because that confused me. Like, I know Kobe. I texted him before the fight. He's from Florida. He's a very good friend of mine. We hang out. I wanted to put something together for him after he won, because I know he's had tried a few times at the belt. And I text him, I say, hey, man, go bring that belt home for us, man, because he's from, out of Fort Lauderdale with me. We go out to eat and everything. I said, bring that belt home, buddy. He said, Champ, I appreciate you always reaching out, because I reach out to him before all the fights. But, man, he usually presses and presses and presses, and his cardio is insane. I was like, let's go. And I didn't see him pressing as much this time. So I kind of said, well, something must be going on.
What do you think about? Oh, go ahead, Matt.
Well, I was going to think. I think what's going on was he's fighting Leon Edwards.
Yeah. And
Leon Edwards is a legit problem. He goes with guys.
Right.
We were just talking about him, and I was talking about him as like the fighter of the year because beating Usman twice, and Usman is phenomenal. And at the first time, he was down 4 rounds, and they're like, "All right, well."
That was a Hail Mary kick is what that was.
They can say that. But
that was a Hail Mary kick. Hail Mary full of grace. Boom. Oh, the Lord is with thee. That's what he said. The Lord is with thee.
But then the second fight for him to be able to shut him down. And so it's like, and then when you look at fights when he fought Bilal Muhammad, who usually has a way of just managing the distance, of closing it and getting guys down and beating them up, he had a hard time, even though it was a round and a half before an accidental eye poke. There's something that Leon does that just from the changing of stances to what's in his arsenal when he throws it, that throws off these guys that are wrestling based,
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of it.
And the whole surprise part was that Leon was taking Kobe down. I was shocked. I'm shocked Kobe didn't really take any shots at trying to get him down and everything like that. And then he took when I saw maybe one shot in there, but yeah, I was just a little shocked because I know Kobe. I knew how important this was, and this, people talking about maybe where does he go from here if he doesn't win this time because he's had a few opportunities and everything. But yeah, I thought, and then all the things that were said prior to the fight, I thought this was going to be a let's go kill each other no matter what. Somebody got to die fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think, too? You said something interesting about the cameras in the corners. Like, you don't have cameras in huddles. You don't have cameras in baseball when a manager goes out to talk to the pitcher. And I know it's a part of the fight game, but you can need to say something to your coach, but you can't say it because the guy you're fighting will find out. Is there a way around that or a way to deal with that? Or is that just the nature of it?
I didn't think about it until I heard Kobe talking about it. But you do know the TV thing. Like even in NFL games, I'm like, dude, they're playing the replay. How can you not throw the flag or throw the challenge flag? Because you see things. So in the fight game now, you got people coming. There should be a place that they can have a moment, or I don't know. Say, hey, the first 30 seconds, no cameras in the corner. Give them some time to discern that round before the rest of the world hear whatever strategy they want to play going forward. I think that's important, especially now, like Kobe said. the other corner's getting. We go back to your corner. You should have a moment to speak with your coach without the rest of the world hearing, and certainly not your opponent hearing.
Yeah, like Rachmanov in that Wonder Boy fight we just talked about was really hurt. And I mean, maybe they knew that, his corner knew that, but if he wanted to talk about that, he probably couldn't have, because he knew that camera was. Maybe there's a way to do that where there's no sound for the first 30 seconds in one corner and no sound for the last 30 seconds in the other corner. So TV can serve its need and film guys, but they can also have privacy.
Idea. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. I'm sure at the top part of BD Surgery, you want to switch up. Let me give you the first 30. So maybe I'm free the first 30 seconds of all even rounds to speak how I want. You're free the first 30 seconds of all odd rounds. You see what I mean? Just some kind of way that you can get a chance to talk to your coach. Like you need that private time, especially in one-on-one battles, especially one-on-one. Okay, you got team sport. That's different. Team sport, you can't hear everything everybody's saying in a team sport. Yeah. But one-on-one fight, dude, it's crucial. What I gotta say, what I need to hear from my coaches is crucial.
I, as a fan, I like hearing the corner work.
Me too.
I love
Me
it.
too. But we ain't getting our hands busted in. We not getting. I'm sitting here looking. I'm not the one getting my head busted in.
I love hearing those, because sometimes you have a good corner man, and then you see that connection, and you see them, the fighter, be able to pull off what they said, or like Leon Edwards in that the final round with his first fight with Usman.
You got it.
What are you doing? Stop feeling sorry for yourself.
Right. I love that.
I love that.
I love that. So you want to see? You want to see what is a coach's job? I don't care what sport he in. His job is to reach down inside a kid and pull out that king. I want to hear how he did that. I want to see that too. You know what I mean? I want to hear that. I want to hear you say, we talked about this.
Yes.
This is the last moment. You got to get what you. What we said before, when we went in, I'll share this with you guys. We went in that first NFC Championship game. I'll never forget it. Playing against San Francisco. They had beaten Dallas for a while. I went to every player in that locker room to dap them up before we went out. The motto I said, because this is our first time, since the white clock caught the catch, and I was like, death before defeat. We would die before we leave here a loser. Death before defeat. I just kept saying that earlier. Death before defeat. Death before defeat. Death before we were not leaving there a loser. I want to hear somebody. I want to hear that corner man say, "We talked about this. We would die before." Like you watch, you see what Alessandro always talking about the style bending. He said, "Die before I lose." He says that between every round. I'm the best. I'm the best. Prepare to die. I'm prepared to die. I love that stuff, dude. I love that stuff. My blood.
Yeah, that's why half and half is fair. So they can have their private moment, and then we could also hear, because Matt, as you know, Matt is a very, very vocal coach, and people love watching you, Matt. They love watching you and Longo, the way you guys, your perfect timing, and Rogan always talks about how great Matt is, and you give these precise, like somebody saying, "Hey, look, shoot for takedowns," is different. I mean, if you're saying that to your guy, if you're saying that to Merab, chances are whoever he's fighting knows he's going to shoot for takedowns.
Right.
But it's the injury stuff I'm thinking of, or the stuff that really can't be known. Strategy in a moment, hey, look, he's going to be trying to switch stances. Stuff like that they can hear. But it's the stuff that they shouldn't know, which I think is more injury-based, that they should give him half a quiet round. Hey, Michael, has anybody, you talking about getting psyched up, and you psyched up people, and again, that San Francisco rivalry was just incredible as a fan to watch. What was the thing that got you hyped the most? Who was able to do that for you? If you weren't too sure, if you weren't feeling a certain way, who was able to get you to that place where you were like, we're winning this game?
Oh, my yesterday got me to where I needed to be. My yesterday, what I mean by that, my growing up, my history. Big E, I'll give it to you this way. Eric Williams came in the league, all-pro left tackle.
Yeah.
Left tackle. He said to me, we were in the steam room. His rookie year, he just got here. I said, what's up, big fella? He said, man, I got to make the team. He was like, gotta make this team, man. I gotta take care of my mom. I said, big fella, that's the most important thing to you? He said, yes, take care of my mom. I said, well, that's all you need. You don't need nobody to say nothing to you. All you need is every time you line up, you look at that joker across from you, you say to yourself, dude, you trying to stop me from feeding my mom? And then you bust his ass. That's what you do. You know what I mean? You gotta, hey, where was your greatest pain? You use that greatest pain to get to your greatest promise. He calls you live in that greatest pain. Every time I saw this dude, every time I saw a quarterback, I said, dude, I've been broke all my life. You trying to keep me broke? You out here trying to keep me broke. I'm gonna get you. You know what I mean? I made it personal. I made it direct, and I wanted it to be painful for anybody that stands in my way. I tell Big E that. I tell any player, what is your greatest pain? You put it on his ass. That's what you do. You lay it on him, because that's how you'll find your greatest promise, by living in that greatest pain and remembering you're not going back there and nobody's taking you back there. In our sport, let me tell you why that's different, and why that's special, and why it's different. In every other sport, in most of this world, most people get to the top of their game punching a computer or something like that, you know. In our sport, it requires hand-to-hand and man-to-man combat. So if you're just punching a computer, all you have to do is improve your skill, because the computer don't fight back. But in our sport, hand-to-hand, man-to-man, you got to improve your skill, but also deepen your will, since you're going against another grown man. You understand? So when you think about the pain moments, you're deepening your will. You're not improving your skill, but you're deepening your will. I remember not eating. I remember not having my mom get what she needs, and I'm taking this out on you. That's the difference in what we do, because we hand-to-hand, man-to-man combat. Most of the world, they are not, and they can't even understand it.
It's cool when it works out, but when it doesn't work out, it just gets awkward. Lionheart, Anthony Smith was doing that with Johnny Walker. He's like, you're messing with my family. And Walker's like, God, what are you talking about, guys? Walker's flipping kicks up at him like, I don't know. Can we get a translator here? I don't know his family. I don't know.
Oh, you know what? That's right, too. You're right, because in your sport, you got all those different languages.
Anthony Smith.
He's like, he doesn't know if you're talking about he likes you or he hates you. He doesn't know.
He was confused. I think he was genuinely confused. He goes, wait, hold on. Can I have a time for a second with your family? And it was, again, if he would have said that and beat his ass, it would have been, I guess there's a time and a place.
Well, you got to be careful to make sure, because now, remember now, each of us have at least two of us, and all of us, some have more than two. You know what I mean? So you got to know who you're going up against. You got to know how to bring the best out of it.
Yes.
People complain about athletes a lot. Like, do you think athletes today are different than they were when you played, or is that just public perception and they're exactly the same?
No, things change. Things change. Let's talk about it, because really, you look at the opportunities now. But, you know, I remember coming up, man, the opportunities were not like they are now. So many opportunities, social media, everything. So you know, one of the things that my counselor and I talk about was we talk about, like, did we really do a disservice to even our kids? Because we didn't have anything, and we worked so hard to make sure our kids didn't come up like we came up. And he said sometimes maybe the best thing we could have given them was some struggle. We were trying to make sure that they didn't go through what we went through, but maybe we should have passed on some of our struggle to toughen them up. So yeah, I do believe that there is a difference in the athlete. I think they're way more athletic, but less. They don't have the deep well that we had. Like I watch guys now. I watch guys come out of football games on third down, wide receivers, tapping their head. They're throwing the ball right now. You play wide receiver. Why the hell are you leaving the game? You couldn't get me to leave the game when they're throwing the ball because I had nothing. I got $25 a weekend in school, in college. $25. I had to send $10, $15 home. I lived off $10 on the weekend. You see, now these kids are driving Rolls Royces in college. You see, before they even get to the NFL, I used to go running all day and think about, man, you know, girlfriend, man, girlfriend. I'm gonna work and get me a girlfriend. When my son was playing football up the street, I would come home at the pool. They had a pool party with girls everywhere. I said, what are you doing? You can't win this way. This is supposed to be the stuff you never get until you get here. You know what I mean? Make you hungry for it. So yeah, things are changed. They're much better because we had big guys and fast guys. Now the big guy is the fast guy. The tall guy can dribble the ball all the way, bring it up the floor. We got big heavyweights, moving like lightweights and bantamweight guys.
Yeah,
these dudes are athletic. These you can't ever say that the athletes today are they're way better than the athletes were. Now they don't have the same will, but they do have better skill.
It's true. You can lose some of that grit. You can lose some of that grit, and especially my sport. When I was coming up, now I was doing it because I love to fight. To be honest with you, not to sound like a psychopath, but there was now people looking to do it. And you're like,
you sound like a psychopath.
You do, and you are a psychopath.
Right, and in your sport, boy, that's warranted. That's
good. You do. I was, so now, but then again, I'm also I was the welterweight champion and I'm 5'6".
You're a bad man. You're a bad man.
So I'm up to like these guys now, Leon Edwards, I'm up to his chin, So it is funny how the athletes do. They just get bigger and better, in a good way. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, man. I'm telling you, dude, let me tell you when I knew it was time for me to retire. I remember playing, we were in the off season. We're playing charity basketball games. And I'm like, things are changing. I mean, first we played the Chicago Bears. Yeah. And I watched Brian Urlacher take off from the free throw. This 260-pound linebacker. Yeah. I said, oh, snap. This is crazy. And then we played Washington Wayne. And I'm watching LeVar Arrington do 360s. I was like, these dudes are insane. You're watching guys 260 pounds, 270 pounds. I watched Larry Allen, no joke, playing back. Watch Larry Allen take a ball under the goal, spring up, boom, dunk a basketball, the whole goal shattered. The rim fell on his head. Boom. I said, oh my God. I grasped it. He said, what else you do, playmaker? I said, just give me this rim off your head. I said, he's bleeding everywhere. I said, come on, man, let me get you over here to the training room. I had about $3,000 in my pocket. I gave it to the young people. I said, this will cover your goal. Let me get them over here, Hey, but the athletes are incredible, man. They really are incredible because everybody starts training at 5 years old. When I went to the park at 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years old, I didn't have organized sports. You had to earn your way onto the basketball court. You remember how they used to say, well, sit down, you ain't old enough to play yet. So, you ain't ready. And then when you first started playing, just get the rebound, hand us the ball. You was restricted in everything you did. They made you earn your way. Now everybody's in these groups and all of these clubs, and everybody get this participation trophy, and everybody has to play. So it takes away some of that burning desire to earn because we're giving it to everybody.
Michael, as we wrap up our final show, first of all, the most interesting, or the thing I'm shocked at the most was that Larry Allen could dunk. Like, I loved Larry Allen, and as big a guy as he was. I mean, how tall is he? Was he 6'3", maybe?
Yeah, 6'3". Let me tell you one quick story too, because Larry, first year in the Pro Bowl, right? I had told him, I said, big fella, I'm trying to encourage him all. Yes, you get that Pro Bowl, I got a deal for you. Boy, deal for you. When you get in that Pro Bowl, I got something. He gets to the Pro Bowl. We go out all night long. We run all nighter. All night. We coming in, it's about 9 o'clock the next day. They're getting ready to go to a Pro Bowl practice. We're like, oh God. Larry's wife, hot. She's done. She's mad. Larry What Larry the White, you've been out all night with my Larry. And then that day they had a Pro Bowl challenge on the beach. Larry out with me all night. They're benching 275 pounds for reps. Larry says to me, "Hey, Playmaker, my wife mad, man. I don't know what to do." I said, "Big fella, they paying about $50,000 over there to the dude that can bench the most." He said, "Yeah, I can go win that and get that to mama, and she won't be mad." I said, "Yes, you can, big fella." No joke. I think somebody that did like 40-something times. Larry went over. He said, "I'll do it." He said, "Yeah, well, 45, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50, 1, 52, 54. He looked at me and said, "You think that's enough?" I said, "You put down. 55 is good. I think you're going to get that money. You can put it down." Hey, boy, I'm talking about one of the most phenomenal athletes I've ever met, man, was Larry Allen.
Michael, are you promoting anything? Because again, I'm so happy you were our final guest of the year, and so happy you could come on again. We wish you would come on more. Is there anything you want to promote?
Well, listen, what I love is this right here, what we get a chance to do and how blessed we are to talk sports. You know what I mean? So the one thing I do want to promote is I want to talk to people like us more. I get on one of the social media sites, so I want to promote the stunt. The stunt is it's a app and a social media site that's for us. Sport. Let me tell you why, because I get talking about sports on all these other with social media, and everybody want to bring in all this other mess and stuff. I just want to talk sports. This ain't got nothing to do with who I'm voting for. This ain't no. Can we just talk sports? And nowadays, everything you say becomes something, and people try to take it and make something else out of it. And so I'm like, can we just talk sports? And yes, we can on the stunt. Just got to get that out. Go to the stunt, and you can see it's us. It's what we do, and I love all sports. So I love talking all sports and how we pull the best out of each man within that sport.
The stunt. Michael, thank you. Again, always, I could talk to you for 2 hours. We love having you on, and just come back a little more often next year, and have a great new year, please. And we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Man, appreciate you guys, man. Thanks for having me on all the time, man. I love this. I love UFC. I love what you guys do. I love Dana White. I appreciate it. I told Dana, man, I'm so happy when all that COVID thing, he was the first one jump back out here. That's what I also told him. I want to make sure I catch the next. I want to go to a fight in Dubai. You know what I mean? I want to go see that. Because what I want to know what that's like. I was going to Dubai during COVID. And then they told me, no, don't go. Because right when COVID hit, I had already had plans and I never had a chance to go. So now I'm waiting and I want to go over with the UFC. That'd be the best.
I recommend it. It's beautiful. I recommend it.
Right. I want to see it, man. Man. Thanks for having me, man. And Happy New Year's to all you guys, man.
Happy New Year, sir. The great Michael Irvin, one of my favorite people. Thank you so much. And we'll talk to you next year.
Thank you, guys, man. And make sure we talk. All right, guys.
Okay.
All right, Tim.
Thank you, sir.
Michael. Take care, legend. Great. What a nice
I mean, is there anybody better than Michael Irvin? I mean, I could literally talk to him all day.
Such a warm guy, Jimmy. And thanks also to Kevin Iole. Hey, Jimmy,
Yes.
Who's going to say it first? See you next year.
But I'll talk to you before then. Thank you to Jake and all the guys. You guys work really hard and you make this happen every week. We really do appreciate what you do. And the people who book for the UFC, who get our guests, it all runs smoothly. All Matt and I have to do is just show up and fucking talk, and the prep sheet is there. And so thank you to guys behind the scenes. You really do make our jobs possible. I know that sounds corny, but it's the truth.
Jimmy, what do you want to plug for the fight?
Just JimNorton.com. I'm on tour. New Jersey is almost sold out. Connecticut's selling very well. I got about 10 dates and many more going up. And if you want to see me and my wife interacting, Nikki and Jim NYC on YouTube. And that's what my personal life is like.
Hey, that's so beautiful. I can't wait to watch your show. And Jimmy, also you're on the latest Whitney Cummings podcast. So
we do it. Yeah, Nikki and I do an interview together. It's our first interview on Whitney, and people seem to like it. So yeah, thanks, Matt.
And I'm gonna go. I just want to promote. If you guys got time over there, I have no horses in the race here, but go watch that Rebel Moon. They should make more movies like this. They're shitting on it. Poor Zack Snyder puts his heart and soul into this thing. If you like any bit of Star Wars, but you're sick of how they're making it so woke and stupid, watch this because it's fucking hardcore, and I enjoy shit like that. And I like them making more stuff that I enjoy.
All right, definitely.
Happy New Year, Jimmy.
You too, man. Happy New Year. I'll talk to you in a couple of days. And thank you guys behind the scenes, Jake and all you guys. And we will talk to you soon. And of course, the UFC Unfiltered listeners really do appreciate
Army.
it.
Say it right. The Unfiltered Army.
Unfiltered Army. Thank you guys.
Unfiltered Army. Go watch Rebel Moon and watch Jimmy at the Fat Black Pussycat.
Not till January. I'm there.
Not till January.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. What an ending.